Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series.
Hello, Adam.
Hello.
I really like your hair today.
Thanks.
Did you get a trim? Yeah, exactly. Is this a trim?
No,
okay.
I washed it.
Good for you. Just a
She's
different
clean.
style today.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to ask. You know, you never know. I'm
We're
well.
talking about other stuff, but I don't think neither of us were actually like, how are you? How are you doing? So.
Yeah.
All good.
How are you doing?
Don't ask me. Crazed.
Don't ask me.
Ask me tomorrow at like 7 p.m.
I'm planning on just not speak. I'm just not going to text you tomorrow. I think that's my goal. I'll let you initiate whatever happens.
This week we read chapter 23 called The Yule Ball. Adam, what happens in this chapter? This hefty, she's a hefty girl, this chapter.
Yeah. Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to the Yule Ball.
Oh, okay, great. I was like, Adam skimmed the whole thing.
Yeah, they go to the Yule Ball and that's it. All right. Well, thank you for listening this week. We have no review.
Oh no, we have no review again. Sad. Reviews. People. Anxious millennials. Come on now. Meow. Yes. But your summary, good. Yes. There's some things about this chapter. I don't know how into it we're gonna get. But
Ron is such a brat.
Serious question. Oh yeah, I hate Ron in this chapter. I also hate how, like, we've already said this before, but like the ugly duckling becoming a swan bit, I hate it. Sorry.
I'd also like to say that Ron has not just been a butt in this chapter, but like most of the chapters so far in this
he is
book.
not doing well.
This is not a hot book for Ron.
Especially whatever, I'll wait till we get to the part. But I love a Princess Diaries makeover montage.
Right.
I love any montage situation where it's like, you know, someone becoming more confident in themselves, letting their inner beauty shine through, whatever it is. I understand that's always like the physical beauty too, to an extent, because it's a movie or like whatever that they have to do like a physical transformation. I get the effect of that, but just the fact of how it's like said with Hermione, like the fact that like they don't even like recognize her, I like don't like it.
I really hate that. What chapter was that? Like 4 chapters ago when Malfoy said the thing and she got her teeth quote unquote fixed.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it until today.
Now.
If her teeth are big enough to comment upon,
like,
I don't know how she didn't come back and you're like, go wear your teeth.
This is what I'm saying. I just don't like it. It's way too convenient. And
it's
also, I'm just like,
it's men. It's men.
But she is not a man. JK is not a man. So I'm just like, girl, the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Your internalized misogyny is showing. The objectification of women, I'm not here for it. Hermione nothing needed to change about Hermione for someone to love her. That's just like what I don't like it. That's what it feels like.
The only thing I'm going to say that I like about this whole thing is that Crumb, it is never like Crumb likes her because she got her teeth fixed or whatever. Yeah. He liked her well before.
Yes.
That's why he started going to the library.
I agree. I like that too.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. She was his type from the start. Big teethers and all. He didn't care.
No.
He's into the chipmunk look. Okay. I mean, who's someone? Kristen Stewart, infamously my like biggest girl crush. She has bigger front teeth. I have
Does she really?
Yeah, I've never thought anything weird about her teeth. She looks great. I think we knew people that have bigger
she does, yeah.
Yeah, never thought anything. I think she looks great. Also, not that many people in it. Oh, yes, right, yeah. Now maybe like straight teeth is more common, but like at this time, like I don't think that many people in England had like perfectly straight teeth. So
no,
I'm just thinking about like us growing up in the Midwest. No one had perfectly straight teeth.
Right. Yes.
Braces were definitely more popular, but neither of us had braces. Neither Adam or I had braces.
Well, I have a question about braces, but we'll get to it. So this chapter starts out and Fred and George are working on some more treats.
Yeah,
they are coming up with new concoctions.
Co-valedictorians, Fred and George.
I would say, no, I will say, here's one positive about this chapter. I think this chapter does a lot of things, good and bad, whatever, fine. One of the biggest takeaways positively about this chapter is that there are no Scroots in this chapter.
Yes,
this is the first chapter since we've gotten to Hogwarts that does not have a fucking Scroot in it.
Not a Scroot to be heard of.
Not a Scroot to be scrooted. Okay.
Not a Scroot to be scrooted.
But on the other side of the coin, a negative thing about this chapter is we are once again reminded about this whole Ludo Bagman, Fred and George thing that like doesn't matter whatsoever. Okay.
Has nothing to do with the story. What was it? What is the point? Having another character to suspect? Sure.
So I'm going to say the whole thing. Okay. There's two things. One, I think, yes, it's the second red herring. Because there's, at this point in the series, every book so far has had, like, this is the bad guy, and then it's not the bad guy. So now she's trying to subvert expectations because she thinks we're all older and realize what her trope is. So there's the obvious Igor Karkaroff. But then she's like, but then the clues you keep getting are like Ludo Bagman isn't a great guy. Da-da-da-da-da. And then, lo and behold, it's actually someone else that you weren't even thinking about the whole time.
Right.
Fine. I think that's structure-wise what she's trying to...
Yeah.
Or narrative-wise, that's what she's trying to do.
Sure.
But also, for her own whatever, she came up with this whole fucking rigmarole.
So a rigmarole, if ever there was one.
They don't get this money, so then at the end of the book, Harry has someone to give the money to. Because I guess she doesn't want him to just, like, win 1,000 galleons.
Yeah, he can't give it to Molly and Arthur. God forbid. He can't just find a way to smuggle it into their account. Boo. Botuber.
Boobotuber.
Boobotuba.
It's just fine. It's just a hat on a hat. It is a hat on a hat.
Yeah. And then do you remember the detail of when Harry goes into the Pensieve, what he sees with Ludo? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. I think that's another, but the same thing of like another red herring. And I'm just like, all right, fine.
So anyway, Fred and George are working on more treats. Harry's like, I'm never taking another candy they ever give me. He's still traumatized by the Tongue Toffee.
Sure.
I would be too.
Mm-hmm. I don't want my tongue looking like that. You couldn't even close your mouth.
Also, like,
drooling all the time.
Your tongue is something like you never think about. But when you have something wrong in your mouth, it's like the worst feeling in the world. I get canker sores a lot because I eat a lot of acidic foods. and I get them
Worst.
all of the time. And I bite my cheek. Oh,
terrible.
So Fleur is worried. They they go by Fleur somewhere. Somehow Fleur's by them. I don't remember necessarily. I didn't take detailed notes.
Yeah, just complaining about Hogwarts, bragging about.
The beginning of this chapter is moments in the woods. We're just like beep ba 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 boop ba ba.
Bopping
so
around.
Fleur goes by and she's like talking about how she's worried that she won't fit into the dress robes because the Hogwarts food is so heavy. And then Hermione,
English, did not
right? Classic French joke.
You and I just had a conversation though where I like said almost not this thing about fitting into a dress, but I was like, it was just so heavy. I had to like ask for something else.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Team Fleur.
So that's fine. It's very Fleur. It's very French. These are all stereotypes. Fine. And she's not wrong. British food is heavy.
It can be really heavy. It's like pub food.
Yeah. And I'm assuming what they're serving at Hogwarts, which is just like English comfort food, is all like a Yorkshire pudding and a
beans on toast
pie and beans on
eggs. The cholesterol.
Things that'll get you through the winter for sure.
Yeah.
So this is fine. I have no problem with this little joke, this little bit of comedy, whatever. And then Hermione's like, Fleur's just fucking stuck up. What a bitch. And I was like, why can't women support other women?
Because it's Joe writing it.
It's so annoying. And then like it leads back into this whole thing where Ron's trying to figure out who Hermione is going to the ball with because he won't let it go.
Right.
Because he probably has other feelings for Hermione.
He's like not quite aware that he has feelings for her yet, but it's starting to happen.
Yeah, he's an idiot is what we're saying. So he's like, who are you going to the ball with? And she's like, I'm not gonna tell you because you're gonna make fun of me. Do you know I would sit if you said to me, I can't tell you this thing about myself because you'll make fun of me, I would go home and reflect. I would look inward and I would say, why do I make my friend feel that way? Maybe I need to do some soul searching.
Let me look at this thing about myself. Let me examine that.
It's not great.
Not Ron.
No, not Ron.
This kid has no awareness, like absolutely none. Harry at least has a little bit more than Ron.
Harry's let it go.
That's like a trauma response for Harry. Like he has had to be self-aware because otherwise he'll get hit with a frying pan.
He's Mr. Crouch.
Why the hands?
Because that's what he does in the movie. He like does this thing where he's like juggling balls or something. I don't know what he's doing. We'll see it. We'll watch the movie. We'll see it. I'll point it out.
Oh my God. This movie. Y'all, movie. When we watch this movie, I don't know what. This will be
an episode for the ages.
For real.
So, Draco goes by and he's like, you're going with someone asked you mudblood cretin monster idiot. They're not, it's not a strong book for his comebacks. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Draco's struggling in this book.
But then, Hermione's like, oh, hi, Professor Moody. Hi, hello. And so like Draco like freaks out and then she's like, calls him a ferret.
Twitchy
she reminds him
ferret.
that he, very great. A+ clap back for Hermione.
Yeah, Hermione's in her bag. Malfoy is having an off year. This is his off year.
Right. I think it's a lot of people's off year. This is not a good year for a lot of people in this book.
14. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great age.
No, it's not a good year for anyone. And if it was the greatest year of your life. So, this is when we start to get, this is when they're like, because Draco has made like a comment about her teeth, something about her molars. And so then like Harry and Ron are like, speaking of which, I'm actually.
Oh, she was like laughing. And then is
Right.
it Harry? Or no, Ron. Ron
It's
notices.
Ron.
He's like, wait a
and
minute.
he's like, wait a minute. Speaking of your massive chompers, where'd they go? And she was like, oh, the thing that happened like literal a month and a half ago? Cool. 6 weeks ago? Great.
It really was that long ago. Yeah.
But then she's like very, ha ha ha, it's so funny. I like may have let Madame Pomfrey like keep going when she was putting them back in place. So it's like fine. I think my parents are absolutely going to lose their shit because they're dentists and they want it to be done, you know, the natural way. Which then she's like, they wanted me to have my brace in. And I was like, does Hermione have a retainer? Does Hermione have braces? Is that what I'm led to believe in this book?
No, I think she's supposed to get braces, but I'm like, she's
going to get them.
She would have already had them at this point. You're supposed to get braces like, people had braces like when we were in middle school or freshman year.
You basically can get braces as soon as your like baby teeth are all out.
Yeah.
Because then it's all settled. Your mouth is done. Your mouth's done growing. As an orthodontist, that's what I can tell you. As a licensed orthodontist. So then this is when it's like, this is when you start to get the like, oh, she's really becoming a woman. She's really becoming, and because she's becoming beautiful, now she's becoming worthy of, you know, talking about in this book series. So
I just don't understand why it couldn't have been, like, and whatever. We're not there yet. I'll wait till we get to
what if it wasn't that? What if she just came out in this dress and looked the same, but also Victor Crumb still went with her?
What if she came out and was in the dress and like just like they saw her in a different light, but like nothing about her changed? Like,
why did something have to physically change with Hermione Granger? Yeah,
the bushy hair being slicked back, fine. That's just like getting your hair, like getting a blowout.
That's getting your hair done. Yeah,
fine. That's fine. But this whole thing of like they're a completely different. Harry didn't even recognize her. This is your best friend? I'm sorry.
And you know Hermione Granger, all she did was throw like a concealer on and maybe a lip. Like she's not even doing makeup, honey.
Yeah. I don't like it.
So anyway, this happens. This continues, whatever. And then they're interrupted by Pig with a letter from Sirius. Pig the Owl. So in this letter, Sirius is like, oh, what I was gonna tell you, I'm so glad you won. Congratulations. I'm glad you made it past. You did the damn thing, girl. But I was gonna say that you should have used conjunctivitis or whatever, some disease, I don't know, on the space between the dragon's eyes, because that's the weakest part of the dragon's body. I don't know. We don't know. I'm not getting into it. And then we find out that that's actually what Victor did. So he just would have, if Harry had done that, he would have caused more death to more dragon eggs.
Right.
So.
But Crumb still won. So
Crumb still won.
He and Harry are tied. So it doesn't make sense. I hate it. Anyways.
So he's like, you really should be worried about these next two challenges, because even though you've obviously passed this one, more can be on the way. You don't know. Right. The Triwizard Tournament's so crazy, blah, blah, blah. And Hermione's like, yeah, Harry, you really should like actually think about like figuring out this fucking egg, because time's a ticking, girlfriend. Let's not leave it to the last minute like we did with the fucking dragon.
Yeah,
Let's not
you know why? And you know why she's saying that? Because she knows she's going to be having to work with his dumbass in the library. She already knows. She's like, I don't want to do that again.
At this point, she might be busy getting some crumb dick. And you know what? I will not be interrupted. I will not be interrupted.
Conjunctivitis. Cunnilingus. We know what she's thinking about.
But Ron, always being the devil on the shoulder for Harry, is like, no, it's cool, man. We got plenty of time, dude.
You got all the time in the world, bro.
Come play wizard's chess with me.
Come on. Yeah. Let's just let our knights go at it, man, and we'll just watch. It'll be great. Like,
yeah.
What is wizard's chess? Well, don't you think you would play wizard's chess once and then be like, okay, I've done it. I don't think it's that exciting.
It has to be for people who like chess, which is not me.
Oh, okay. Michael likes chess. I'll ask him. It just seems boring.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you liked chess and then the next level of it being like the pieces also obliterate each other, I guess that would be very fun. So, yeah, sure. But I think you have to start out liking chess. I don't think I would be like Hermione, where I would be like, I'm enjoying, I guess, watching it happen, but I'm not participating. That's not for me.
It's so wild because Michael loves chess. Like, he will watch the chess tournament, the international chess tournaments where like they have the commentators commenting on stuff. And like Adam, they will literally be like, oh, it's just amazing. Isn't this a brilliant move by him? Wow. Really impressive. And I'm like, what? What did he do? Like, I'm just like, he moved a bishop. Like, I don't know. It's so funny because it's because I know nothing about chess. I'm sure if you know what they're saying, it sounds really exciting, but I'm just like, it's kind of like golf, where I'm just like, it's so long. Like, you're just like staring, like waiting for them to like do whatever, waiting for the clock to go down for them to make their move. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe if they were killing each other or like smashing each other, it'd be a little bit more interesting. But I'd be like, I watched it once. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. I think this just is a good reminder that Hermione is a good friend. Because even though it's not her interest, she's like, well, I'll sit around and at least chat with you guys while you play. And mostly ignore me and don't look at my face because apparently I'm not worth looking at. Ha 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 ha. This poor girl.
I know. I'm so glad her and Ginny become friends. I mean, it seems like that's already begun with the fact of like Ginny knows who she's going with. So that might be why Hermione's just like, well, whatever. I have an actual friend now.
Yeah.
So.
So next morning, Christmas morning, Harry is woken up.
Here we are.
It's Christmas. Much like book 2. In the hospital wing, he's woken up by Dobby.
A callback. Yes.
And then Dobby and him are talking, and then like the other boys in the room wake up, like Seamus and Neville and Ron and Dean. And then I was like, oh, and Dobby's just still there. And I feel like
they all just know
it was such a shock to Hermione Granger, okay, that house elves worked at Hogwarts, right? At this point, this is the only other thing I can think. None of them know who Dobby is.
No, I agree. I was like, no one is like, who's Dobby? What?
But I guess my thing when I was reading it was I was like, they should be surprised that there's house elves. But I guess Hermione's been on a house elf kick. So maybe they're like, okay, we've accepted house elves are at Hogwarts, so this isn't the surprise. But I feel like they would still have like a bigger reaction of being like, why is there a house elf in the room? What's happening?
Well, especially like weird. Dean is Muggle-born, so this would be his first time seeing a house elf.
Right.
He's never seen one before.
Right.
Everyone is just like, I mean, I understand presents are exciting, but like, there is a house elf just standing here in a tea cozy. Like, he's not wearing like normal clothes too. I don't know. I thought that was they just moved right past that. And I was like,
It was so weird, right?
Yes. No one even mentioned. Everyone just opened their presents up while Dobby was there. It was so weird. Maybe they couldn't see him. Maybe he was invisible.
Now, this is a great scene for Dobby, and this is not a great scene for Harry. I'll tell you why. So Dobby's like, I went out of my way to get you a Christmas gift. You said I could come visit you whenever I wanted. And so I thought, Christmas morning would be a great time. This is all very sweet. A little intrusive as we are waking him up.
Correct.
But apart from that... Morning.
Not even, just like...
Happy Christmas.
Only to be sorry about the upset that you might have upset them. And it's like, well, you were over them, staring at them while they were sleeping. Dobby. Right. Is this how Dobby woke up Draco Malfoy? We're getting a peek into Master Malfoy. Time for school.
Master Draco.
Young Master Malfoy. Oh gosh.
So Dobby, I'll do it out of order. Dobby gives Harry a beautiful pair of knit socks.
Hand knit
from real sheep's wool. I'm assuming.
We don't know.
And one is red patterned with broomsticks, and the other is green patterned with gold snitches. Do you know how hard this would be to knit that?
And also just shows that he really was considering Harry and Harry's interests and who Harry is. It's very considerate.
Very kind.
Dobby is a good gift giver.
Right.
Say that, okay?
Not the same cannot be said for everyone else in this story.
Just him. Dobby is the good gift giver here, and Hermione.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say something controversial, but I'm gonna tell the readers
it's controversial.
What Harry gave Dobby. So Harry's like, oh, I wasn't expecting to give anything.
Oh, yeah, I got you something too. I just didn't have time to wrap it. My bad.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
And I know Harry Potter owns a lot of stuff. Period. And the thing that he chooses to give to Dobby is a pair of Vernon's socks.
Rude.
I don't like that in the first few books we get this the Dursleys send him these terrible gifts and they clearly don't think about him at all, and it's almost would be better if they didn't send him anything whatsoever. So I don't like that now Harry's doing the same thing.
I think we're supposed to just be Dobby's just happy.
I get that Dobby, you didn't expect to get a gift from Dobby, right? This is all shock.
Yeah.
It's very early in the morning. I just would have been like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting anything. Let me bring you something to the kitchens later on.
Hello. Or even say oh, I got you something, but it hasn't arrived yet. Or just whatever.
Right. It's Jeff Bezos hasn't delivered it. The drones haven't flown from Amazon.
But it's fine to say. It is fine to just say, oh, I didn't know we were exchanging gifts. That's so kind of you. I'll bring something to the kitchens later. That's a very kind thing to say.
Right. I was annoyed. So then anyway, it's over. Dobby leaves. Harry opens his gifts.
Ron.
Blah, blah, blah.
Ron has one good moment in this chapter.
Oh yes, and it's one good moment in this book so far.
Yeah, thus far.
Yeah, he gives. Dobby makes a joke. Not makes a joke, but Dobby's like, "Oh, this is so funny. Your socks match."
Yeah, they
which
fucked
is
up.
not right. Weird. And so Ron's like, ha ha ha, here's a pair of my socks, so now you can unmatch them. So Dobby is floored by this incredible gift that Ron gives him and is like, I mean, My God, I knew you were a friend of the great and good Harry Potter, but
Not this. Don't.
I'd like to thank the Academy
Yeah, for
this
real.
award.
That out of angels in this city. Marianne Cotillard. It's like that energy. Her speech.
So, and then like Ron's like, okay, haha, but he's like very flattered that Dobby finds him so generous.
Yeah. He likes Dobby. Yeah, he likes Dobby a lot.
So then Harry goes and opens the rest of his gifts. He gets a bunch of shit. I'm not even going to go into it because it doesn't matter. Yeah. But my favorite is that the Dursleys have given...
Say it.
The Dursleys have given him a tissue.
Now wait, is this like a handkerchief? Like a handkerchief?
I thought like it was a Kleenex, like one ply.
Girl, you should have even wrapped that then. Like, yeah.
And I'm still gonna say this. The Dursleys put more thought into their gift for Harry than Harry did in his gift for Dobby.
Harry's love language is not gift giving.
No. I would wonder what his love language is. The only one we really don't know about would be like physical touch.
Acts of service, because he's a Gryffindor. Quality time. That's what he wanted with Ginny. He just was sad he couldn't like just be with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. No, he doesn't like words of affirmation either because otherwise he'd like Colin Creevey.
Oh, yep. Yeah, so it must be quality time.
So anyway, this is Christmas Day. They go to the feast. They run around on the grounds. They're having a great day. It's Christmas Day. There's not really much to discuss.
Hermione watches the snowball fight from afar.
Right.
She's like,
she's not allowed to participate.
I am not getting a fat lip on my night.
On Yule Ball.
On Yule Ball evening. It would have been Yule Ball Eve the day before. Yule Ball evening. I am not having a fat lip, which I was like, I might kind of think about that too. I'd be like, I don't know, a snowball fight? I don't know. The day of the ball.
I just don't want to do physical activity on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, you just ate all that heavy food too.
Yeah,
going for a walk around the grounds, fine, but like
they ate like a fruitcake, like a full fruitcake. They're just loaded with like preserved fruit.
I don't like fruitcakes.
No, they're not good.
No, I don't like carrot. Melinda likes carrot cake. Do you like
carrot cake? I like carrot cake, but literally only because it is a vehicle for cream cheese frosting.
Oh, okay. You're team cream cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That was why I went to town on that cake. I'm pretty sure in the middle it was cream cheese frosting.
They had yes, I think it was. They had at Hollywood Studios, they have a carrot cake cookie, and it's like a whoopie pie where it's like just a layer of cream cheese frosting between like two little things of carrot cake. Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, Melinda would love that. She loves carrot cake.
So then Hermione's like, okay, well, I gotta go. I have to go get ready. And Ron's like, it's 3 hours till the ball. And she's like,
Ron,
I know, bye.
Shut up.
And
Ron.
literally at this point, I do not want to speak about him for the rest of this chapter. I will because we have to. But he is so fucking irritating for the entirety of this chapter.
This shit pisses me off so much, where there will be these men in the world that will comment all the time about women, how women look, women should dress a certain way, that they don't look good enough, that they, whatever it is, they need to take care of themselves more, blah, blah, blah. But then we'll turn around and be like, oh, women, right? Take so long to get ready. Can't go anywhere with them. They'll always want to use your jacket because they don't want to ruin their outfit by bringing their own jacket. Like, just so much stupid shit. And then I'm like, but you are also playing into that by doing this shit of saying like, well, women need to present themselves a certain way. And it's like, they need to look a certain way in our society to be valued. And I'm just like, okay, but then you complain when they actually do take the time to like look what you like nice, as in how you're telling them to look nice. It's so stupid. I hate it. I hate it. I will take as long as I need to get ready. Thank you.
So they get ready. Harry looks great because he has nice new dress robes that are very...
Because he's rich.
Because he's rich. And it is only going to get richer at the end of this book. And then Ron looks like he's wearing a dress and... You know,
and like the edges are
Joe and her men in a dress concept. She can't let it go. So he uses like a. This is where I'm like, I don't know if we need to use magic for some of this stuff. He uses like a charm to like cut the lace off the ends, and I'm like, girl, scissors are fine.
Yeah,
you can just use scissors. What are we doing?
And it doesn't even work. It's like frayed.
Again, they use candles at Hogwarts. I do not understand how this is more practical.
Get that Ring doorbell cam, girl. What are we doing?
They have a quill. They use quills in class. I don't get it. I'll never understand. So they go to the ball. They go into the They're all walking into the event. They all go to the entrance hall, basically. Right. And I wanted to point out that apparently there are literal fairies. just
darting around above the students.
Yeah. And this is the closest thing we get to gay representation in the Harry Potter book series.
More so than actual Albus Dumbledore, who never says he's
one gay person. So the champions get called off to the side. McGonagall's like absolutely wearing a tartan, like full Scottish moment.
Regalia. Yes.
Full. And she's like, can you come here? Come here. And as we said last chapter, Harry went with Parvati and Ron went with Padma. So Parvati and Harry go over and he looks over and Fleur is with Roger Davies, a character we don't know, nor will we ever know. So it doesn't matter. And Cedric is there.
The captain of the Ravenclaw Quidditch team. That's all you need to know.
And Cedric is there with Cho Chang.
Awkward.
And Harry's like, I'm actually just not gonna look over there. And then Victor has come to the Yule Ball with no one but Hermione the Stallion.
You're right. You go, Hermione. You go, girl. Happy for you.
And literally in this moment, they're like, the book is like, Harry barely recognized her.
Do you know what part annoyed me the most about this? Do you know what pissed me off the most? The comment about how she was like, standing different, or something was different about her, or maybe it was just the fact that she wasn't lugging around a bunch of books. And I was like, what are we trying to say with this comment? What are we trying to say?
When women don't read, It's more beautiful.
Real girl, that is don't be trying to weigh yourself down with all of these books. Oh,
with education.
It affects your posture. Oh, people can't see how nice your body looks. I was like, what is this comment?
Yeah. Why?
Ew.
Don't have too many books. Because if you stack them in front of you, they hide your tits. And my God, do we need to see your tits?
Hermione, if there's one thing you learn, honey, get those books out of the way of those tits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stupid. Oh my God. I hated it. Did you peep that? Am I reading into that too much?
I did not, but I will say I was reading quickly. It was a very long chapter.
I was just like, what is that?
And I knew we were going to get into the fight of it all later. So I was like,
yeah.
Ay. So anyways, they go into the Yule Ball. They're, instead of 4 big house tables as there normally are in the Great Hall, the room has been transformed into 100 tables that seat 12.
Okay.
Which is big. That's a lot of tables.
So then
that's a lot of tables.
I was like, are there that's a lot of people. And this is mainly just Hogwarts students. 100 tables that seat 12, you said?
Yeah.
So 12 of those are Beauxbaton students. I don't know how many Durmstrang students, probably around the same. That means that like there's literally like 1,150 Hogwarts students. Maybe if we're including like the professors that are there. You know, like in the other amount of people.
Yeah. 100 tables of 12 is crazy. 10 tables of 12, I would be like, okay, that makes sense. That's 120 people.
How big is this school?
How big is this school? That is so big. 1,200 people.
Okay. Anyway.
How big is this room?
It cannot
Girl,
be
what is this?
big.
The Anaheim Convention Center? Like, what is this?
This is where they host D23, actually.
Right.
It's just
Comic-Con's
like,
just down in Hall H.
Comic-Con, yep. BTS will actually be playing there next month.
Yeah.
This is so stupid. I don't understand. And especially because like at this point we know how many people are in like the Gryffindor 4th year. You know, like 4th years, boys and girls. We know how many people there are in that year. So it can't be more than that in every year. I know it's not going to be exactly the same because it differs, but like,
yeah,
there's 5
boys and there's 3 girls.
3 Gryffindor girls. So that's 8 people.
Let's be generous and round up to 10.
Let's say there's 10 people in every. This is the first
40,
last time you'll see me ever do math, listeners.
That's 40 per class for all 4 houses. 40 per class times 7 is going to be 280.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Where are the other 1,000 people coming from? And
wait. Okay. You said 280 at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, what?
You know who also can't do math? Joe Rowling.
Yeah. Girl. Same girl. That is so many more people.
And this isn't everybody. Not everybody's allowed to go. You'd be 4th year and up.
Yeah.
So they go to have dinner. They get seated at these beautiful tables. There's place settings and menus, but no waiters. Which I'm like, why couldn't we rehire the Cupids from book 2? That would have been You wanted
to bring them back.
I want to bring them back.
Why aren't the fairies serving? What are they doing? They're literally
what
just
are
like
they doing? They're just lights.
Remember we talked about the ghosts flying in formation?
Yeah.
The fairies.
This book, it's the fairies. Yeah.
Yeah, just like swing choir.
Yeah. It's a bunch of Felixes. Felix.
Oh, Felix. It is. Oh my God. Perfect.
So Dumbledore looks at his plate, looks at the menu, looks at his plate, and says, pork chops. And the first loser of RuPaul's Drag Race comes out on stage and does a death drop.
Pork chop. Welcome back, honey.
No, he says pork chops, and pork chops appear on his plate. So that's how everybody was like, oh, I'm going to order a specific meal. I thought that was interesting because it's a nice bit of change as to what they normally do at Hogwarts, where everything is served family style.
What do you think? What else do you think was on the menu? Because I was like, if we're having the Yule Ball and like the headmaster is going with pork chops, I don't know if there's that many good options. I was like, Albus wants pork chops? Come on. Pork chops? That's the best we could do?
There's got to be like a chicken fricassee. There's got to be like
a salmon. We're in Scotland, for Christ's sake.
Where the fuck is the fish? Chicken or fish?
Salmon. Salmon with capers. Let's go.
I'll take the vegetarian. So anyway.
No, it's just a salad.
Right.
It's not an actual vegetarian option.
Meanwhile, we find out that Percy is there filling in for Mr. Crouch.
How did you feel about this choice?
What choice? Like, what? Is there a choice?
I was like, okay, I guess is he his personal assistant? Is that the whole gig? Like, he is actually his personal assistant?
Because then what he says in this chapter. He says personal assistant.
He's been right. Okay. He's been promoted to his personal assistant. Okay, right. I missed that. Okay. So yeah. So then, I believe that. I think I'm already just like, this is the head of an entire department, and like, the only person he has helping him is Percy.
Right.
No one else.
I don't understand.
Ludo's there, so they're like, well, just send Percy because Ludo will be there too. I don't know.
He doesn't have like a deputy international wizard relations department head with him.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, there's no one else on this team except him and Percy, basically. I don't know.
So, yes, Percy is there. He's filling in for Mr. Crouch. Mr. Crouch has not been well since the Quidditch World Cup. Now, I really did not remember this plot line of Mr. Crouch not doing well because in the movie, they just don't do it.
Oh, no.
They don't do it.
He like ends up dead, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and it's weird, and it comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, weird, Barty Crouch died, and no one makes a big deal about it. There was a murder that happened to Hogwarts, and people are just like, yeah, he just died. I don't know, it's crazy.
There's like one moment, and then I'm pretty sure it's like the next time we see him, he's dead.
He's like running through the woods or something like that.
But there's a moment with Harry where like he kind of has Moody does something that he like freaks out about, just has a very strong reaction to.
Oh,
and
yes,
then he
the
like
tongue.
walks. Yes, and then he like walks off. And then I'm pretty sure the next time we see him, he's dead. Oh, wait. No, the next time we see him, he's asking, girl, I don't know. Never mind. We'll save that for the movie. I don't remember.
So anyway, he's not doing well. But Percy's like, it's because of the whole Quidditch World Cup situation.
And that damn elf of his.
Blinky the house elf. And this is when I realized that I was like, this bitch, meaning Joe Rowling, this bitch wrote a book in which she has introduced 3 cups in 1 year. The Quidditch World Cup, the Triwizard Cup and the Goblet of Fire, which is canonically a cup.
A cup.
Why did she do this? Because
cups.
He said nothing's been the same since the cup. And I literally had to stop and be like, I don't know which. I'm assuming Quidditch World Cup. I could be wrong.
Which cup are you talking about?
Because I guess technically the Triwizard Cup is what you win. The tournament is the whole thing. The cup is what you win, and the goblet is what starts us off. So the other cup would be the Quidditch World Cup. But I was like, why did we do it this way?
Too many cups.
Too many cups.
Too many cups. We're going to start playing that damn cup song that Anna Kendrick sang in a second. yeah. There's no one sings cup in that at all, but everyone knows it as the cup song. The cup song. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
So back to the dinner. It's going fine for most people, I guess. It seems to be going really well for Crumb and Granger.
Yes.
He is like absolutely talking. This is the most he's ever said.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, you know about our, I don't know why I'm giving him this accent, but you know about how we do the, we have the castle, but it's not as big as the Hogwarts. And Durmstrang, you know.
And it's not as big as a...
And he says the fires are only for magical purposes. What is... I don't know what that means.
I love that he keeps saying, I am sinking. He just keeps saying like, but it's not as nice as this. I am sinking.
Yeah.
So cute.
And Hermione is loving it. She's like, oh yeah, that's so interesting. Wow, I love learning that about you. And then Igor Karkaroff, who's nearby, I don't know. They're at the same table. I was very confused by this because I was like, well, there's a table of 12.
There's 100 tables of 12. There's 100 tables of 12. He was across the room, but he saw him talking to Hermione. So he made his way over, and then he just happened to finally make it to the table. He just finally happened to make it, you know. This great hall it's huge.
It's great.
The convention center, we said.
Right.
It's great.
And so, so Igor Karkaroff comes over and he was like, oh, well, we don't want to spoil where our school is located. That wasn't...
Keep it a secret.
That wasn't what we were talking about. All he had said was that in the summer, they like to get on their broomsticks and ride around the river and the mountains. Okay. And then he's like, oh, don't reveal it. There's only one set of mountains in the world, so we don't want to reveal where our school is.
Nowhere else has mountains.
Okay.
We're in Scotland. Also, shut up.
It's so weird. You're supposed to be hidden. You're not. I don't understand why you would have to be hidden from other magical entities. You came to Hogwarts. You're here. This isn't a secret.
I'm sorry, what are you paranoid about? That Hermione Granger is going to tell Lord Voldemort where your school is? Any of the Durmstrang students could just say, I'm just so confused. There's no reason for him to be paranoid. Who are you worried about?
What are you worried about? It's so weird.
This 14-year-old girl?
It's a very strange moment, but it leads us into him and Dumbledore having this little tete-a-tete. Where Dumbledore is like, oh, well, I would never assume that I know all of Hogwarts' secrets. For example, I just had to pee. I just had to piss my pants the other day. And lo and behold, a bathroom
5:30 in the morning.
Right.
Lo and behold,
there's a bathroom.
He just gets up. He's like Michelle Obama. He gets up at 4 in the morning. That's when he gets up. It's like, okay, yep. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And then I gotta pee. So I'm just going to wander around the castle and hope I find... Well, we don't know where the bathrooms are. We know about Myrtle's bathroom and the prefect bathroom.
And the bathroom on the first floor? The one the troll goes into. That girl's bathroom.
Which is also a girl's bathroom. So really, we don't know about any bathroom for the men.
Because as Joe has pointed out, she only cares about things that could go wrong in a woman's bathroom.
Yeah. This was the heads up that was coming. These books. The lack of bathrooms for men indicate.
Because nefarious things happen, and I hate it. So anyway, basically Dumbledore reveals he may have found the Room of Requirement. If you don't know what that is because you're reading along with us, A, I'd like to apologize as we've spoiled the ending in this entire book series. But B, it will come back in book 5, so you can just put that to the back of your head and it'll come back later.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to Victor and Hermione having this cute conversation where he's trying to figure out how to say her name.
Yeah, it's cute, except for the fact that he doesn't get it right. And as someone whose name has been mispronounced almost their entire life, or like just people never actually commit to like saying your name correctly, I was like, no, get her name right. Please stop.
I loved
Hermione.
it.
Hermione.
Hermonini.
I understand. You know what? English isn't his first language, though. So
correct.
Sure. I will give him a pass on that.
And then, meanwhile, while that conversation is happening, Fleur is regaling Roger Davies with a story about how horrible Hogwarts is in comparison to Beauxbaton.
Yeah, right.
And the way she describes Beauxbaton, we don't know if this is true. We have no idea. We'll never go there in this book series. Spoiler alert. It sounds like a sleigh and a half. I would love to go to Beauxbaton.
Adam is enlisting to go to Beauxbaton.
Yes.
His application will be sent the next day.
Right. 100%. It sounds great. And Roger Davies can't hear a word she says because she's part Vila, and he's so struck by how beautiful she is. And then once again, Harry's just avoiding looking at Cedric and Cho, so we don't get to know what they're talking about. And Harry and Parvati are not speaking. Let's be clear on that.
This poor girl, Parvati's just like...
I didn't even mention that Neville makes a comment about being like, I can't believe you two are going with the two most pretty girls in our year.
Yeah. And Ron, you were going on and on about how the girl you went with had to be so pretty. You don't even talk to her.
And Harry and Ron treat them like dirt.
Yeah. Harry's not very nice to Parvati
Justice for the Patils.
Yeah. Ron is definitely worse, but Harry does a bad job too. Neither of them are nice.
Boo. So, all of a sudden, everybody's finished eating. Dumbledore has everybody stand up. This doesn't make sense. They're all at circular tables. Think about this, what I'm about to say. Dumbledore has them stand up, and then all of the tables move to one side of the room. They're circular tables! And 100 students are dead. I was like, did we even need to clear the floor? This room is so big? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Spatial awareness is not apparently my forte when reading this book series because I am so confused. It doesn't matter.
Because I know that this is set in an old castle in Scotland, but even that, I've been to Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. That those rooms are still only so big.
Right. They couldn't build bigger.
The great halls in those castles are not that big. I'm thinking of where we had our prom or something that.
Hermione, this is a magical castle.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you knew.
They
Did you
expanded.
know? This is
They
about
did
magic.
they just did that spell that they did on like the cars.
Maybe they just did
that.
it for tonight. Just for the Yule Ball.
Yeah, it's like 3 times the size
Yeah.
as it normally is. Great.
So the weird sisters get up to play. And then Harry's like, oh, fuck. I have to dance.
Okay, so here we are at the Weird Sisters. We did not get my question has not been answered.
We don't know.
But
We have no idea.
I'm assuming they're men because of how hairy they are. I don't think she would make a female character hairy knowing her.
Well, she could be doing a weird, that's why they're weird.
Let me look it up. I swear one time I looked it up and it was like, oh, they're men? Despite their name, all 8 known members were male.
They must be in the fucking game. They must be in the wizarding game. What's that game called?
Oh, they are. Wait, no, I remember them. Yeah, they are in that because I played that game for a while. The mobile game.
Yeah.
They are in that. Yeah.
Would you like to know their names?
Yes, please.
Okay. On rhythm guitar, we have Heathcote Barbary. On bagpipes, we have Gideon Crumb. Crumb as in Crumb.
Oh, an actual crumbs.
Like a crumbs. Okay. Lead guitar is Curly Duke. Cello is Merton Graves. Drums is Orsino Thruston. Bass is Donegan Tremlett. Lead singer is Myron Wagtail. And lute is Herman Wintringham.
All right. Well, there you have it.
So I hope that was useful for anyone. So anyway, they dance the first dance. It goes fine. Harry basically just stands in one spot, and then like Parvati like directs him because he's an idiot. Mm-hmm. He has no rhythm. As soon as it's over, he's like, we should go sit down. And she was like, no, the next song they're going to play is really good. I really like this one. He's like, I don't like it.
No, I don't like it. It's bad. Well, Harry, we're not here to just do what you want to do, are we? Sometimes you dance to songs you don't like that much when you have a date. He
goes and sits by Ron, who has not even got up to dance yet.
No.
Not done anything. Padma looks depressed. Parvati sits down. A couple minutes later, a Ravenclaw kid comes up or was it Durmstrang? Somebody comes up and asks her to dance.
I thought it was a Durmstrang kid. Or was it a Beauxbatons? Was it a Beauxbatons boy?
They're all the same. It's not even somebody who's named.
Oh, okay.
So somebody comes over and asks Parvati to go dance. And she's like, do you mind, Harry? And he was like, no, but she'd basically already left. She was like, do you mind? Bye.
No, you don't, clearly.
And then she never comes back. So he's been ditched. And then Dancy, Padma gets taken. She finally is just like, I'm just going to go dance with Parvati because you're never going to dance with me. So she goes and dances with Parvati, and then a second guy shows up to dance with her. Beauxbaton.
It's Beauxbatons.
And then Hermione comes over, and she's like, and this is, I think, verbatim in the film. This scene right here. So Hermione comes over. She's like, oh my gosh, Victor's going to get me a drink. Oh my God. This tonight. And Ron's like, I hope it's going well for you or whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, he's really nice. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm having a great night. And he was like, well, you're a fucking tramp. You're a trollop. I don't like that you're fraternizing with the enemy is a literal sentence in this chapter. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't know why you're acting like this. It's so mean. This is so mean and unconscionable how he acts towards her.
Yeah.
This is nearly for me on the level of like Draco calling or Severus saying that her big teeth don't look different. This is
Well, he's
almost the
just like
same for me.
he's like really going in on her. And it's
Yeah.
so, especially with like how the fact that he uses the whole like he's the enemy and like we want Harry to win. I'm like, bro, you literally were not talking to Harry for like a month almost because you thought he put his name in and didn't tell you how to put your name in. So now you want to turn around and be like, you're talking to Crumb, blah, 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 blah. How dare you, you traitor. Like, shut the fuck up.
And
Are you
also,
for
like,
real?
from Hermione's perspective, she is very vulnerable right now, as she like doesn't normally get dressed up. Like, this is not, she's out of her comfort zone.
Mhm.
She came to
Yeah.
talk to her friends so that she can just be like, like, this is so
I'm having a
exciting,
good
and
time.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. And like, at any age, I mean, like in high school, those dances are so built up because you just never get them. So to
Yeah.
have someone like just be that fucking dramatic, which this is very high school because that does happen all the time. There's somebody who has to like cause drama that night.
Yep. Has to have
Ron.
this like big thing at the dance. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just felt so bad because you know that's not, she just wasn't there for that. And like, he's such a dick about it. I just was so mad. Because she feels so vulnerable. And Harry doesn't
like,
say anything.
No, and Harry just like doesn't get involved. And well, he tries to say, Ron, I don't have a problem with her going with Crumb, but then he doesn't say anything after that. Like, yeah, this was bad because I was like, I understand when you have two friends and they might be like going at it. I understand that it's like it's uncomfortable to like get involved, but like when something like this is happening, I feel like you do kind of have to say something.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess he did when Harry said like, I don't have a problem with that. Doesn't Ron switch it to being like, well, he's probably just using you.
Yeah, he does.
To get the egg or whatever. And it's just like, basically all of it is just like, he doesn't really like her, or she should be ashamed of herself for like being happy that she's having a good time with Crumb. It's just, it's bad. It's so toxic.
It's
this whole
so
thing
toxic.
So toxic.
And we hope that Ron learns his lesson and he doesn't treat Hermione like this when they're adults and they're married and they have children. Yeah. Because like this energy is terrible.
In the 7th book, it's better. He's like annoyed that Crumb's there, but he is just very like, okay, let's go dance. Like he just like is trying to be like, I'm this is my girlfriend now. Like this is my person now type of thing. Like rather than being like, get away from her, blah, blah. Like there's no bullshit like that. So yeah. But in the 7th, never mind. He gets that stupid book, like how to like charm women in the last book. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. We'll wait till we get to that. I don't know. Ron does need more awareness. So maybe it is good that he like read a book that was like, here's ways for you to like actually be a good person to a girl you like. Cause he did kind of need to learn. He wasn't doing a very good job.
So Hermione storms off. We don't know where she goes, by the way. This is the last time we see her until the chapter's over, basically. Yeah. We get her at the end.
At the end.
So let's move on to other things that happen as we are now hitting an hour 30 on this episode. Ludo
this
Bagman.
Chapter was like, it took me an hour to read it.
It's so long. To it. Percy, you read it. Percy, that's reading. You're still
listening. I was listening to the audio.
Yeah. You're still reading. I don't know. That's still reading.
Thanks.
So Percy comes over and is like, well, let me tell you about how my life is. And Harry's like, this is the worst. I really
you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'd rather Dobby come back over.
For real.
So he is just talking more about like Ludo and or more about Crouch, I'm sorry. And then he sees that Fred and George go up to like talk to Ludo Bagman.
Right.
And he's like, oh my God. I
can't believe they're bothering him.
They're accosting him.
Yeah.
And so Bagman like gets him off gets away from Fred and George, and
Like
he
shrugs
comes over.
them off. Yeah.
And Percy's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about my brothers. I hope they weren't horrible to you." And he was like, "Oh no, they just want my advice for some trick wands or whatever." And I'm gonna
Another
get them
thing they're inventing
because
they're geniuses.
Right. And then that's over. And then they just start having conversations. So Ron and Harry are like, "Oh, we're gonna go get drinks, okay?" And then like walk away because they're like, I'm not talking to adults.
Yeah.
So they go off.
You don't want to do that.
And then they go out of like I don't know where they were. I'm assuming there's like a courtyard. There's rose bushes. There's an outdoor space where there are rose bushes. This is all I gathered.
Yeah.
So they're walking around outside, and I'm assuming talking to each other. They could be walking in silence. I have no idea. But they come upon two gentlemen of Verona having a conversation, meaning Severus Snape and Igor Karkaroff are like going at it, and not in a hot way, in like they're having an argument way. Sorry, I would need to clarify that. And Karkaroff is like, "It's never been this strong before. It's been like this ever since the World Cup. Da 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 da. I don't know what it means." And Severus is like, "Well, if you want to go, girl, you go right ahead. But my ass is staying right here at Hogwarts."
Yeah.
So,
like, boy, bye.
And then Severus is also, what he's actually trying to do at this moment is like ruin teenagers' nights by like blowing up the bushes so that people who are making out have to like flee.
This is giving me big the faculty pushing their way through the dances at like prom and midwinter.
Because
you know what
we
I
were
mean?
grinding. Yeah.
Coming in through everyone grinding, being like,
yeah, don't grind. So dumb. So then Severus is like, "What are you two doing?" Because he keeps finding like people making out. So I do like the idea that at first Severus was like, are Harry Potter and Ron Weasley like having an affair? But I don't think that's what happens. And then Ron makes a retort and he like lets them go, which I was very surprised that he didn't even like say go back or whatever. I was very surprised by that. But then they come upon private moment number 2. This is the part of the chapter that's moments in the woods, honey. This is like the truth is being revealed. This is very Midsummer Night's Dream, where just things are happening and you're like, ah!
It is. Yeah, there's a lot happening.
So they come upon Hagrid and Madame Maxime.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry's like, I don't want to be here. I don't like this. And they're going to like go the other way. But then like Fleur's making out with Roger Davies and Ron's like still embarrassed. Girl, she doesn't remember you. I promise you. She is not even
going to look at you. I promise you're going to walk by and she isn't going to even hear your footsteps.
Her tongue is down Roger Davies' throat, girl.
And you know he is thoroughly enjoying it. So
exactly.
They're fine.
So they're like stuck between a rock and a hard place. So then Harry's like, "Well, I'm just going to look at this beetle." As I try to avoid listening to Hagrid and Madame Maxime. And then
sorry. Like, walk the other way. You're in a garden. There's not another path in this garden.
Harry, you can just go.
Leave Ron's dumbass.
If Ron can't go, sorry, Ron, I'm going.
Who cares?
You're a child.
I literally would have been like, okay, well, I'm leaving.
I'm not going to listen to two adults talk about. We don't know what this could have been. This could have been like, I really like the way your pussy tastes. Like, we don't know what this conversation could have been.
What they're going to talk about. Yeah.
Right. And you know it's not going to be appropriate.
They think they're in
private conversation. Okay. So that is not, spoiler alert, that's not what they talk about. They end up discussing.
Oh, it isn't?
It's Hagrid's, in addition to everybody with an H name tonight is being very vulnerable. So Hagrid is like,
Yeah.
well, I never thought I'd meet another one like me. And gives the story about how he was like, my mom was a giant. My dad was normal. I'm summarizing. And
my dad was a very small human man. No, this is an important detail.
Wait, like
that,
he was
just
like
that.
he was like a little person? Or was he just like a normal man?
No, he was just like a normal man, but I think he was like the way Hagrid talks about him, he was smaller. Like he's not like a 6'2" man or like a man that just happened to be very tall.
His dad was a twink, is what he's saying.
His dad was of average height, a smaller man, yet he fell in love with Hagrid's mother, the giantess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about it in this chapter because it's just we've been talking for so long. But next chapter, we're going to get into
Love knows
this.
no bounds. It's incredible.
I said this to Michael. I was like, how did this happen? And he goes, life finds a way. And I was like... So we're not going to talk about it. I'm saving this discussion for next week because it's too long to get into.
All that happens here is that Hagrid is like, here's my life story. I don't even think you've been on a date yet. I don't know if this is when we want to like trauma dump.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to trauma dump this soon. But he does. Yeah. And Madame Maxime is like, I don't know what you're asking me. And from that, he should have been like, I'm not asking anything. I'm an idiot. But he doesn't read the cue. And he's like, you're half giant like me. And she's like,
half who? Half what?
Absolutely floored that he would like throw out this accusation. She's so upset. She screams and is like, I'm going back inside. How dare you? I'm just big boned. And then this sucks. And then Hagrid leaves to go home. I'm assuming to start drinking.
Yeah. To what?
Which same? Start drinking.
Start drinking. Probably.
That single malt whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks, and I feel very bad for Hagrid. Yeah. And it doesn't. This is very sad.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then Ron's like, wow, I can't believe Hagrid's mom was a giant. I don't understand how this is even a question. This makes no sense. The fact that this story becomes as big as it does, we can get into it in the next chapter, but like, the fact that Ron is like, oh, I just assumed an engorgement charge happened. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Someone would be able to fix that.
You did what Hermione did, but like with your whole body. With her teeth.
Right, but also you can fix that. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. I was very confused at how no one apparently at Hogwarts, we'll talk about it next chapter, but Ron is like,
no, I agree.
Giants are inherently vicious and violent predators. So that's just
like
how
all
they
of a sudden he's like, welcome to the Croc channel.
Yeah. So that's just how they are. So it's kind of crazy. I understand why Hagrid would want to keep that a secret.
My favorite thing though was that Ron was like, well, at first he was like, they're not very nice.
Right.
It's like the best way he can be like,
they're not nice.
Well,
I don't understand what they're learning at Hogwarts if by year 4 you have not learned anything about giants. I don't understand the schooling of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And at this point, maybe Vernon Dursley was right. Albus Dumbledore is a crackpot old fool.
Oh my gosh. The hate. Adam is losing trust in Dumbledore book by book.
I'm losing faith in institutions.
Yeah, right. The fact that like in the books, Hagrid's even bigger too. Like the dustbin lid sized hands. This man has to be a half giant. I would think he's a full giant at this point. You don't have a reference for what you don't have a reference point for what like an actual giant is. All you've seen is Hagrid. Oh, you went to get that.
This is a pan top. Pan cover? Pan lid. Lid for a pan.
Lid for pen.
And this is not
the pan top.
This isn't even as big as like a dustbin cover would be.
No, not even close. Yeah.
Are you and I thinking about the same thing? Like what Oscar the Grouch is in? That's what you're thinking of, right? Like a trash can.
An actual trash
proper
bin.
Aluminum trash bin.
Like outdoor. Yes. Like outside.
This is like probably half that size.
Yeah.
And this is...
Yeah.
Crazy. How would this man not be half giant?
This is what I'm saying. Especially since all the giants, like no one's seen a giant for however long or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well then you would definitely assume Hagrid is a giant because you don't have a point of reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
very strange. So Harry's like, oh, well, my ignorance of not growing up in the wizarding community, that's what it does for you. Too bad I'm not learning anything at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and fucking Wizardry. So they go back to the dance. Nothing really happens. The dance ends up ending, and they're like, oh, I'm glad to go, even though everybody else is like, oh, I wish it was longer. I had so much fun. Because Ron and Harry were fucking negative Nellies all night. And we're just like sitting in a corner like school children.
No one would want to be around you two anyway.
No, fuck.
The worst dates ever.
Ew. Why did you go? Ew.
Because Harry had to open. What if Harry? Wait, hold on. What if Harry just was like, I'm not going? Like, what if he just was like, I'm not going to do it? Somebody
else would become Triwizard champion. Just like how I got on prom court.
Wouldn't that be great for Harry? Wouldn't that be great for him? Because he wouldn't have to do it.
Never forget that I was not on prom court until someone said, oh, I'm not going. So then they were like, well, next on the list was Adam. So he gets to be on prom court.
Next.
And I was like, and he put that crown right on my head.
That's right. Well, I was meant to be here.
So the thing ends. They're all going to go back up to their respective dorms. Right. Or their houses. Their dorms. And Cedric is like, Harry, wait, I need to tell you something. And so Harry's like, okay. And then he's like, have you figured out the egg yet? First he's like, I want to thank you for warning me about the dragons. And Harry's like,
thanks for that.
I would.
Right on you, mate.
Of course I should have, which I agree. He should have.
Yep.
And then he's like, well, have you figured out the egg? And Harry's like, no, I haven't started because I'm being an absolute buffoon about it. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, you should take a bath with your egg. And Harry's truly, I would be like,
huh?
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did you say? It's one thing to be like, the next challenge is dragons. And then Cedric is like, you should take a bath with your egg. Girl, just be like,
dragons.
Listen to the egg underwater. Anyway, so he...
Do you think it would have worked if he was like in the shower?
Maybe it would have been like
if there
warped.
was water hitting it. Like half muffled and half screaming.
But then he also
Skrelting.
But then he's also like, yeah, actually you should use the prefect bathroom. Here's the password. Again, security at Hogwarts.
Pine
fresh. And you should go into the bath and take a bath with your egg. And Harry's like, okay, have a good night.
Cedric.
What was in your punch, buddy?
Yeah.
So then he goes back up to the Gryffindor common room. We're finally at the end of the chapter. Thank God.
Yeah, here we have arrived.
And he walks into Hermione and Ron screaming at each other in the Gryffindor common room. And it's more of the same, except finally Hermione has the last word by being like, here's the deal, fuckhead.
Yeah.
Next time, how about this? You ask me to go with you and not as a fucking last resort, dickweed. And then goes to bed. And that's it. That's the chapter.
You go, girl. Hermione.
Hermione.
You tell him. Yeah, very, very well said. Wow. Thank you, Adam. That was quite the
God.
Was quite the chapter.
It was so long.
Well, that wraps up this chapter. Next week, we'll be reading chapter 24 called Rita Skeeta's Scoop. We do not have a review. Please change that next weekend, listeners, please. We've been toiling away over here. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only. Oh, shoot. Or else you'll have to be trapped in a garden and hear Hagrid telling Madame Maxime about her pussy. I don't know. That sounds worse. Or you'll have to listen to Percy just go on and on about his gripes with his new job. That would be the worst, wouldn't it?
You'll have to watch Ron be an absolute dickbag to his friend.
Yeah.
And just forced to watch him be mean.
Ron, grow up.
Literally grow up.
This is like Ron's year. This is the year of Ron being a complete asshat, and next year it's Harry.
Next year's Harry. And you know who never has that year? Hermione.
Hermione. Yeah, exactly. Hermione is somehow always the one that's understanding. She can never have a moment to just, oh, well, no, wait. I guess book 3 was when Hermione was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, but she wasn't a bitch. She was just stressed.
No, she wasn't. Yeah, that's the only time we see Hermione kind of
have to deal with something
in any way. Yeah.
You know what? She almost saw death in book 2. So.
Yeah, right. Exactly. She's like,
trauma.
I'm reborn, renewed. I don't have a third thing. Ready to mingle. Rejuvenated. Reborn, renewed, rejuvenated, and ready to mingle with Crumb. With Victor Crumb. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at HBAnxious, Instagram at HBAnxious, and YouTube at the Ampliverse. We are hosted on Anchor and recorded on Zencastr, so thank you to both of them, and are a proud member of the Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you so much, Adam. That was quite a marathon. We're just under the 2-hour mark. And as always, Knox.